Hello, everybody. You know, it's just so funny. I noticed during the opening you just played, George, and I never really noticed it, that there's a shot of me on Hollywood Squares.
Yes, I put that
sitting
in.
next to Paul Lynde.
Yeah, I put that in there.
I never. Wow. I mean, you think I would have noticed that, but
I'm very hurt that it took you a year to notice that.
Some of it goes by pretty quickly, and I just must have missed it. Anyway, welcome back, everybody. A couple of adjustments here and there. We'll be moving it and making it much more accessible on different platforms, but we're having some issues as usual with internet and technology, which I'm very, very bad at. But so before we get into like life stuff, I've been watching the news, and I'm sort of getting obsessed now with this alleged MS-13 guy that's invented in El Salvador, and I'm sitting there and I'm watching. I'm going, what are we doing? What are we doing as a country? We've got this guy who has 2 deportation orders. He's been labeled as 13 by 2 judges. So the one deportation order alone will get this guy out of the country. And I'm watching this and I'm going, what parallel universe are we living in? The Democrats, these congressmen that are going to El Salvador, man, it's such a bad look for them. It's because 90% of the people want these criminals out of the country, and I'm asking this almost rhetorically, you guys, and people that are watching. So let me give you, let me show you, tell you something, right? So Bill Clinton deported 12.3 million people. 12.3 million, right? Did they get due process? You think 12.3 million people got due process? No. George W. Bush, 10 million people. Did those people get due process? They'd still be here if they got due process because of how long it takes.
If you're not a citizen, do you have the right to due process? Is that just being a human being?
Obama, didn't he deport over 3 million?
5 million.
5 million and no due process. Well, due process is you're here illegally, you're a criminal, or even if you're not, you're illegal, and we can deport you. I believe that if they're not citizens, that's a process we've used for 100 years.
Right. And Obama did 5 million. Obama, Bush, and Bill Clinton had 0 injunctions. Trump has deported 100,000 people, and he has 30 injunctions against them.
It is a derangement, I think.
Mark, it's the only thing. I try to look. You have what is that expression used? Not Occam's razor. Is it Occam's razor?
Occam's razor is the simple answer.
So it has to be that it's only because it's Trump. Has to be.
How can anybody? Number one, they go, well, we're not. They won't answer when they asked him, is he an MS-13 gang member? They changed the subject, and the senator said, well, it's about due process. It's about our laws. And I'm going, no, it's about he's a gang member. He has MS-13 on his hands. Okay. The reason he didn't want to go to El Salvador, the technicality, my understanding, is they couldn't send him to El Salvador because a rival gang would kill him. Right. So you have to be in a gang to have a rival gang. It's insane. So how can they justify the hardcore murders and violent guys? How can that be an argument?
And another girl got killed in Maryland.
Yeah, yeah.
And look, whether you're whatever party you belong to, the Tree Party, the computer, whatever you belong to, I really don't care. I just want bad people out of the country, and if they're not citizens, they're here illegally. It's baffling to me, and I don't even know what to say about it, because it's getting to the point where, what does anything mean? What is, the Constitution, Abraham Lincoln said the Constitution is not a suicide pact. In other words,
Yeah.
if you're endangering the citizenry, but you have to stick to the Constitution, you're killing yourself. I mean, I love
the country that
document, but for the safety of Americans, you have to, what is it? They suspend habeas corpus or something? Is that what it is? Which is a legal action used to challenge the legality of a person's detention or imprisonment.
I'm not sure.
But that's what it is.
Yeah.
So, you have to, at a certain point, you apply some common sense and say, look, these are bad people, got to go.
Yeah,
So,
I don't understand the craziness. Somebody said, didn't 6 other senators go to El Salvador? Nobody went to Hamas to get rid of American citizens that are in worse situation. They are being tortured. They're with Hamas. Nobody went there to try to talk to the Palestinians and say, gee, would you let them go? They go to El Salvador to get out a gang member. It says the look. Do they even not understand how it looks? How can anybody, I bet Trump said, let me start with the criminals, because there's nobody can disagree about more violent criminals. They did. I go back to, if he discovered the cure for cancer, they would vandalize the medical offices that had the cure of cancer if Trump discovered it, and they would vandalize it and burn it down like they did with Tesla.
Yeah, so
no matter what he does, they hate him so much.
So you let in 10 or 15 million people with no due process, just unvetted, come on in, but to get them out, and even the Supreme Court is saying, well, you can't deport them. You have to, and I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah, and didn't they say it would take like 26 years
to
get rid of it? Again, do they not see the forest for the trees? I mean, are they literally thinking that everybody hates Trump so much that if we just go against him, even if we're supporting gang members, people are going to agree with us? Maybe that's what they think. I don't know. It drives me crazy.
I think this guy is right. I think Trump deranged one. Kendra, this girl, Kendra's right. TDS is a real thing. It's a real thing. You're right. If the guy gave everybody $1 billion and cured cancer, and everybody would live to be 150 years old, they'd hate him. They would hate him.
Yeah.
And it's
you know what? When you get so deranged, you what is it? You become psychotic almost, where you don't see truth. You're just so angry that you lash out without thinking. I mean, that's what anger is. You put your hand through the wall because you're angry, and then later you go, oh my God, why'd I do that? So I think
it's because I always think, and I of course I have a political bias because I was raised a certain way, but what's best for my fellow Americans? What's best for them? What's best for them is to have safe streets. That's what's best for them, because without safety, nothing else matters. Nothing.
Right.
Taxes don't matter. Insurance nothing matters, because you're dead.
If you're afraid to walk out of your house, which in some countries and places you are, what's worth living? You're literally in fear of, I'm going to get shot, I'm going to get robbed. You're exactly right.
And I can't figure out what the hatred is, what it's all about. I either it's because he's exposing everything, exposing all the corruption like he did with Doge, but even the first time, the guy, man, it's just baffling to me, and I don't know. But George, take the last word on this. George, go.
You know what's interesting to me is the new seats they've given to new media in the press conferences.
Yeah,
and these people are not, being one body. They're not afraid. They have nothing to lose by pointing out to everybody who's been there for decades, being part or implicated in the problems that we have by covering up or carrying or spreading the lies. And I feel like this is refreshing to me in at least the media approach to correcting a part of this problem. I found it really, it put a smile on my face when
that guy with the hat.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I saw that. He actually shut down he embarrassed everybody in that room.
You're right.
Which was kind of nice. So, all right. Now that we're on politics, let's talk about. I think Mark, you brought it up earlier. The Supreme Court and and the books. And what state is it?
I think Maryland. No,
whatever it is.
What happened?
So the issue is that the teaching the kids. These are young kids. These are kids from 3 to 7.
3 to 11 or something.
3 to 11, and they brought books in there about transgender and homosexuality and things of that nature. And some parents, for multiple reasons, religious or not religious, want to opt out of that class, and the school won't let them. So it's gotten to the Supreme Court. So what happened?
Well, they used to let the parents opt out, and it was religious Jews, Christians, Muslims. Some they just didn't want a 5 and 6-year-old to be taught about how to have sex. These books actually showed you how to have sex. I mean, it was ridiculous. The Supreme Court started reading the books, and I was listening to some of their talk back. So what they did is they were letting them opt out of the sex education at a young age. Let the parents decide when and where and how they get sex education. So what they did is they changed it and took it out of the sex education and put it in under the reading program. So like math and history and reading, you can't opt out. So they did it, and that simply was very devious to force. And I don't even care if they're trying to force the gender or not. The idea is if a parent doesn't want their 5-year-old, 6-year-old kid to hear about homosexuality from a book that is written in a way that they don't approve, let them opt out. They're not saying get rid of the books. They're not saying don't love it. And that to me, and you're getting some of the liberal judges were asking questions like, well, because they do it under the religious thing. And she said, well, I would think some parents that are not religious wouldn't necessarily want their young kids to be taught this early. It's like not giving the parents the choice when to tell their kids. Every kid is going to find out about gay.
Yeah.
And trans.
I agree with the parents. I mean, and I think I think you might have said this, Mark. One of the issues is one of the Supreme Court justices said, you let children opt out of other classes for whatever reason. Why not this one? Why are you not letting them opt out of this one, religious or non-religious? And look, I go back to. I always go back to. And I've said it a million times, I really don't care what anybody's life is. I really don't. Whatever you want to do with your life, however you want to live it, whomever you want to be with, whatever you want to be is fine with me. Kids don't need to be taught anything like that. They just, let's teach them to read and write and do math. I mean, let's teach them to do that. They're going to find out soon enough about sexual things. And it's not, because to me, it's total indoctrination. It's just total indoctrination.
There could be no other answer to it because kids, I wouldn't want a 6-year-old kid to be taught heterosexual sex.
Right.
So why would you teach these books to say Billy and Billy like to sleep with each other, Billy and George, and they go on, and there's one called the Pride Puppy, and it's all about gay and all this. Well, I don't think it's appropriate, whether it's gay or straight sex, to be talking that two people do this.
No, I agree 100%.
They do that.
You want to learn about it when you're 18, fine. But when and listen, by the time you're 13 anyway, you're going to learn about everything.
They're going to all know by the time they reach puberty.
I know. By the time 12 or 13 years old, they're all going to
find out.
They're going to find out.
Go, George.
I'm sorry.
When I was in school, I had very dear friends that they were very, they had a deep faith. And I went to I went to Catholic school my whole life, private school. And when they came to, it wasn't even sex education. It was just teaching you about the changes in your body and a woman, going through puberty and what happens. The parents opted to not have their kids in that class. And I tell you that I was envious of them. They're not, I went to it and I was part of it. And there was nothing wrong with it. I just went, but when I had my own children, my wife, well, now my ex-wife, she had a beautiful way of like talking to our children about this when she wanted to, or when we wanted to, and in the manner we wanted to talk to them. I mean, things became, it wasn't scary. It wasn't gross. It was like, let's go out and have a lunch and have a talk about this. So and as Mark said, this is just about heterosexual things. I mean, if you don't, we're having a problem. How do we do that right? Why do we have to force them? Why should they be forced to learn or hear about anything beyond that? And I totally disagree with. And the book out of anything.
The books are written by very, very pro-trans gay authors, and they're not necessarily giving them, just a overview. Can it only be indoctrination? What is the point? I don't want to indoctrinate a young kid on straight sex. So why do you want to indoctrinate on being trans? It makes no sense.
The argument they make is that, well, you want to be inclusive. We want the kids to be inclusive. The kids don't know. That's another kid to them. They don't know that kid is whatever.
Well, you know what they say. The argument is, if your kid at 5 years old says, "Mommy," he's a boy, "Mommy, I feel I'm a girl," then those parents go, "Well, he needs to understand why he feels that way." Now,
well, you could do that at home.
That's what I'm saying.
You don't affect 35 other students because of one. They'll accept them. Human beings are very accepting, unbelievably accepting.
Of course.
And honestly have their own issues to deal with. Anyway, so I just wish that, I just wish we could get back to I love everybody. I hope people like me. I know people that are everything. And I genuinely, I swear to God, I don't care. Doesn't matter to me. But so what was that? There's acceptance. You don't have to accept it, but you can tolerate it.
Yeah.
I don't accept somebody might not accept my lifestyle. That's fine. I might not accept somebody's lifestyle. Mark, I don't accept your lifestyle because you're a single man with cats. But I love you as a friend, and I don't care.
Yeah.
And you eat weird food. Other than that, it doesn't bother me. Anyway, all right. So, George, you have something? That's it. That's it. Did we talk that one out?
Did we answer any questions here on the comments? I'm not reading them.
Yeah, you're done. Charles in charge, and he's on a lot, but you're done tolerating their BS. I understand that, and I think that, you know what? Guys, I don't have the answer. I just know that it's just a constant push, and I don't know what they want the country to be.
I think
honestly don't. What?
I'm sorry. I think they want to change the society. In the 50s, people go, "Oh, we don't want to go backwards in the 50s," and this thing. And I'm going, there was an agreement of what society was. Today, there is so much diversity, but I mean, in the division is the word that they want. Many people want a different society, and they are forcing you to accept what they want. As conservatives, I don't want to force my views on anybody, but I don't want them to force it on me. I want to be left alone. I'll leave you alone as long as you're nice to people and you don't do illegal things. Everybody should have their own life and live the way they want. They don't.
Finish it, George.
I want to master the heterosexual options that are available to me before I expand it. And I haven't done that.
All right. So, okay, that's enough. Thanks, George. Okay, we're gonna just switch
wanna-
up a bit. I was watching. I don't want to talk politics the whole thing. I think it's everybody watches. Everybody that's on this probably pays attention. But I was watching. What was I? I was watching. I saw a photo of John Travolta online. Whatever. He was with his. He's too beautiful. I think he's a son and a daughter. Beautiful. With Kelly Preston, whom I knew. God rest his soul. So tell me what you and I thought what I started thinking in my head, what's my favorite Travolta movie? Like, what's your favorite Travolta movie?
Pulp Fiction.
What?
Pulp Fiction.
Pulp Fiction.
I liked him in that. It brought him back. But I don't know. He's good in a lot of movies. I liked him in a lot of movies. He's gotten more interesting. Oh, Saturday Night Fever. You can't take that away. That was in its day. You look at it now, but in its day, that was pretty cool.
I want to change my answer. Get Shorty is by far my favorite.
That's mine.
Yeah,
that's
that was very good.
That's one of those in the theater. I didn't get it, but if it's on TV, no matter what I'm doing, I stop and I watch it until it's over. If I turn it on in the middle, it's like boom. This is what I'm doing.
100% great movie of his, but
yeah, that was good.
The theme wasn't the theme, not the theme song. One of the songs there was Green. Was it Green Tomatoes by Booker T and the MGs?
I'm trying to remember.
Anyway, but so now if you think of Saturday Night Fever, tell me, what is your perception of Saturday Night Fever?
Mine?
Yeah.
Well, I was in that era when I saw the movie.
But watching the movie, what kind of movie was it to you? The dance movie?
Oh no, it got very dramatic.
Yes.
I mean, it was. I didn't look. I'm not a big dancer, so I wasn't into the. If you've ever seen me dance, you know why. But
you're a good dancer.
I did have bell bottoms. I did wear some bell bottoms, but I never dressed.
I'm sure you did.
But no, it was actually an interesting. It had some dimension to it. You know
what? If you watch that movie again, that is a heavy movie.
I haven't seen it.
It's no joke. I mean, there's a lot of elements in that movie that are very dark.
You're right. Even his home life and his the relationship, and you're right. It wasn't just a fluffy, fun movie. It's
a dark, great. I don't want to say it's a dark movie, but it's a very serious drama with a guy who can dance his ass off.
Yeah.
But music but my brother's in that movie.
That's right. I forgot.
How about this? That movie was shot at a club called 2001 in Brooklyn. My brother used to go there to that club before they made the movie. And he's in the movie as a background guy, like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah,
he walks in with Travolta, and then he's by a bar or something. So that's how close that movie. That's where we lived. I mean, that was our neighborhood. What did you think of? I thought, what's the one? Michael. I thought Michael was a good movie.
Yeah, Michael. Somebody wrote that. Yeah.
And then what was the other one? Crap. I thought Face Off.
No.
It was. I mean, I enjoyed it. I enjoy Nick Cage. I think he's okay. What's your Nick Cage movie?
Oh,
Not Leaving Las Vegas.
I was gonna say Leaving Las Vegas. I loved. He won the Academy Award for it, I believe.
Yeah.
I thought I love dark, sad movies, and I just thought his performance and her performance, I forgot her name, was great.
I thought Honeymoon in Vegas was brilliant.
You're right.
Brilliant.
Yeah, I love that.
And he was in Face Off. Let me see what other movies he's in. I mean, I think he's fantastic, but he's a bit of a wild I like. You know what? He was in Renfield. Did you see Renfield?
No, I didn't.
Good, crazy movie. But I like him. I like Face Off too. I thought it was so over the top that I thought it was fantastic. But Grease for Travolta, great iconic movie.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay.
Moonstruck.
What?
I love Grease.
We mentioned Moonstruck for that was awesome. That was an awesome film.
I changed mine.
Hey, no copy.
Moonstruck is Moonstruck for sure. What about Sylvester Stallone? And you can't say Rocky. Can't say Rocky.
Yeah, no.
Because it's Rocky Stallone is.
He's done some interesting stuff. I mean, he's actually a pretty good actor. I did not like Stop or My Mom Will Shoot. That was the worst. That was that comedy where his mother.
It was played by Estelle Getty.
That was a horrible movie. I think
Cobra.
Cobra was okay, but I don't.
Blood.
What stood out? What is big? I mean, Rambo.
Stallone. Oh.
Yeah. Throw some movies that I'm just forgetting.
I mean, the guy. First of all, great writer, and over the years, I think he's fantastic. Oscar, the comedy.
Yeah, no, don't.
It's not bad.
Oh, I saw it like
it's a pretty funny movie. First Blood is great. Somebody mentioned First Blood on there. So Robbie Hoskins says Rhinestone. I don't know about
Stallone doesn't get the credit. He's a great writer.
Yeah.
And I saw he did a draft of Rambo or something, or one of them, and James Cameron came in and rewrote it. And I don't know how the credits read. It may be both of them. It may be. And I remember reading both drafts, and I like Sylvester, and I think Cameron's a great writer. Sylvester's script was really good.
Yeah, Rocky's one of the great scripts ever.
He is underrated as a rock, but even after he wrote, he's just on the page. He's a really great writer.
Yeah,
and people don't think of him as a writer. I think he's directed a few things. Didn't he direct Fist? I think he wrote and directed Fist.
That I like that movie. Nighthawks is a good movie. You don't remember that? Billy D. Williams. Great movie. Nighthawks from 19. Ready for this?
I know.
1991. George, favorite Stallone movie?
Well, I'm not allowed to say Rocky, but probably. I mean, I like boxing, so I would. That's what I would want to pick. But let's see if that's not it. I like which Rambo was he in that muddy cliff where that was his hiding place, and then he came out. That was probably that. I love that.
Yeah, great movie. Great. Do a couple more, guys. He took it. Wait a minute. Grudge match. Robbie Hart. What's Grudge match? Oh, with De Niro.
Well, we can't forget the arm wrestling movie.
Over the Top. No,
Over the Top was
Grudge match was where him and De Niro are old fighters, and they get back in the ring again at like 60 years old or something. Lockup was who says that? Lockup was pretty good. Predator. No, that's not Stallone. That's Predator is Arnold.
Arnold, yeah.
That's a fantastic movie. Predator. Go Arnold. I'd say Predator. Right
I liked the one where he goes to the other planet. What's it called?
Who?
The girl with the 3 boobs. That's all I remember in the movie.
Oh,
come on, it's a great movie.
Total Recall.
I thought was very good movie, and I thought he was good in it. He's surprisingly good. Did you ever see his first movie called Hercules in New York with Artie Stang? What's that comedian with the big glasses? Arnold Stang. They had to dub his voice. He was so bad. They dubbed his voice, and it was called Hercules in New York, and it was the first movie he did. I think he shot it in Italy, but they released it in America.
They did that with Lou Ferrigno too.
Right, but to see Arnold in that movie and then see him later on, where he actually is a really good actor and a great performer, you would have thought they were two different people, which shows you there's hope for anybody.
All right, go, George.
What's your
Last
favorite
word
mob
on
movie?
what?
What's your favorite mob movie?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, Terminator. Yeah, Terminator. I'm sorry. That was great.
Terminator. My favorite mob movie is The Godfather.
I like. I love that. Obviously, 1 and 2, and I'm starting to like 3. But what do you think of Goodfellas? Are you a fan of that?
Great.
I love Goodfellas.
I thought Casino was great.
I like Casino too.
But I just think the Pesci's character in that was really a lot of the scenes he did, even the improvised one was it Funny How that just cracks
That's
me.
Goodfellas. That's one of my clowns.
Didn't you know Pesci like outside of
A little bit? I was
Don't take it away from the writer.
what?
I said, don't take it away from the writer. He's going to say he ad-libbed the scene.
Well, he didn't. He was actually retelling a real.
I was going to tell you how I know Pesci.
Yeah, sure.
I was
Didn't
doing,
you see him at Charles in Charge or something?
I was doing Charles in Charge, and so this has got to be like 84, and I think Pesci won an Academy Award for Raging. Did he win for Raging Bull?
I don't know. He didn't
Anyway, whether he did or not. So
court case one.
So he was. We were rehearsing, and there was a girl on the show that week as a guest star, and I'm rehearsing, and I look over into like over by where the audience would sit, below it. There's a guy standing there, and I'm looking at him, and I go, and I turn to somebody, and I go, is that Joe Pesci standing there? I was like, no, what the hell's he doing here? No, I keep looking, and I walk over to him, and he goes, hey, Scott. I said, what the hell are you doing here? And he says to me, yeah, I'm dating this broad over here. I'm dating the girl that was on the show.
That's funny.
And we talked to him for a minute. He says, well, what are you doing later? I said, nothing. He's come meet me on the Rocks, that bar above
The Roxy
Theater. So I went and hung out with Joe Pesci for one night. And then after that, I'd see him from time to time. And he's great. I know him a little bit, and I don't, he to me is Nicky Santoro without the killing. He's that same kind of guy. I went to an event once with him, but not with him. He was there, and Clint Eastwood walked in.
Must have been a Republican thing, maybe.
Yeah, probably. And I always notice when I see Clint Eastwood, and I love Clint Eastwood, it never looks like he combs his hair, like in the back.
That's funny.
So I said to Joe, Joe, what the hell's up with his hair? He goes, yeah, I don't know. He walks over to him and he says, hey, Clint, what the F is up with your hair? Anyway.
What did Clint say?
He just started laughing.
Oh.
It ain't whatever they talked about. I didn't want to get them. I'm not going to stand next to Clint Eastwood and throw me an elbow and knock me on my ass. But anyway, that was a true story. But hang on. Yeah. Okay. You know what we'll do? I think my wife just had a good idea. What we're going to do maybe next week is we'll get Joel Kramer on here.
Oh, the stuntman. Joel
was Arnold Schwarzenegger's stuntman forever, and he's got some fantastic stunt stories. But we'll do that. But okay, let's go to let's do one more actor. Pick an actor. Somebody out there, pick an actor that you want to talk about. Come on, somebody. First name that comes up. We'll talk about him. Go, anybody. Pick an actor. Pesci play and yeah, nobody. Eastwood didn't knock you to that. No, come on. Somebody that's listening, pick an actor and we'll talk about it. No, an act. Tom Hanks.
Real movie.
Tom Hanks. Okay, talk about Tom Hanks.
Oh, Green Mile.
You know what?
Way.
You know what? That guy might have had some of the best movies ever. I mean, Green Mile, like you said, Mark. Forrest Gump.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about the one when
what?
Took on the island? What was that called?
Castaway.
Castaway. That's
Forrest
right.
Gump.
Saving Private Ryan.
Philadelphia.
I mean,
he was good. He gets into the character, and he's great. I have to say.
I mean, the guy. Whatever you think about him.
Yeah, I'm not into his politics.
I don't want to bring politics into it. It doesn't matter. The guy is
actor.
Everybody's done a couple of stinkers. A couple of.
Wait, didn't he do Terminal with Steven Spielberg?
Yeah, he's in Terminal. And listen, he's the voice of Woody in Toy Story.
Yeah,
one of the Toy Story.
Great.
One of the great films for me of all time.
I agree with you.
I mean, my daughter and I must have watched that movie 30 times. No joke. I mean, my God, the guy. What else has he done? He did Catch Me If You Can.
Oh yeah.
Forrest Gump is probably perfect.
I just read a story the other day on Tom Hanks. He was the highest paid actor and consistently the highest paid actor. He took points on Forrest Gump because they were running into money problems. And whatever his fee was, he said, I'll reduce it to nothing, nothing to them, $1 million, and I'll take points. And they gave it to him, and he's made more money off of that. He probably made $300 million off Forrest Gump just by his points. So
that's where the do you know the story about his voice in that movie?
No, tell us.
Really?
I don't know. No.
I hope I get this right. I saw him talking about he didn't know what to do for the him playing Forrest Gump, and he didn't know what to do. So Hanks has TDS. Look, we can put politics into anything and everything. I just want to give people the credit where the credit is due. But so he was trying to figure out how to speak like Forrest Gump. The boy that played him spoke like that.
The little kid played him as a little kid.
Thing on his
and he decided he was going to talk like that boy.
Wow.
And he started doing it, and the studio absolutely hated it.
Of course they did.
But he ended up, I think he fought for it, and he got it. But, Green Mile, I mean.
And by the way, every studio executive that hated the voice, today you ask him at a party.
My idea.
Told him to do that voice. That's the voice we want.
That was my idea. I mean, what else did this guy do?
There's so many.
What?
So many. I mean, go down the list. I can't think of anybody did a lot.
No, he's done. A Sleepless in Seattle is a great movie.
Yeah.
Big.
I like Bachelor Party.
I don't recall that one too well.
Oh, that was Splash was a great movie.
Splash, yeah. Maybe he's got a good eye for good scripts too.
Yeah.
Credit. Those are all good scripts.
Yeah. Okay, George, wrap it up. What do you think is his best movie?
There's a lot to pick from. What I liked, and this is a dumb reason, but I like the subtlety of the title of Castaway because it's not, I don't think it's one word, but let me think. Castaway. The reference, you think when you hear it and him living on an island that he's a castaway, but the title is really in reference to him being cast away by his fiance or his wife because they thought he was dead. It's not. It's the difference between cast away is 2 words and cast away is 1 word.
So that's what made you like the movie, the title.
Those. I mean, if all things are equal, or if you have too many choices, I pick on things like that because I like subtle Easter eggs that you can find, and that threw it over the top for me.
Okay.
That's a little deep. That's a little deep for me, George.
Yeah.
Well, that's the way my mind works.
You're a deep guy. I never thought of it in
Yeah. So yeah. Well,
in those terms. Also, for, Apollo 13.
Yeah.
we forget. I mean, they're all great movies.
Big.
Yeah, I said big. No one cared.
You did,
No.
and then. Oh, okay. So that's enough for Hanks. Which reminds me of something else. Serpico. That's Pacino.
Yeah.
Who was that? Yvonne. That's Pacino. Great movie. All right. I want to talk about the women going onto the rocket. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Who was it? Gail King, the singer. What's her name?
Katy Perry.
Katy Perry. And I don't know who the other ladies were. I don't know. But I was. Did you see them? Did you see that Gail King got kind of upset that somebody said that the girls went for a ride on a rocket? Did you see how upset they got? She got upset about that.
Yeah.
Huh.
You didn't see that, George?
I didn't see that part of it. I saw a little bit of the.
She said we didn't go for a ride. She called it a mission. And,
yeah, it was called a ride. They didn't have any flight. They had no buttons to push.
Right.
They
So
literally
she got roasted. Roasted. So you didn't go on a mission. You went up and down. That was it. You went on an amusement park ride. Now, granted, it was rocket could have.
Correct me if I'm wrong. They didn't break through everything to actually be orbiting. They just went up where they were weightless. So they may have not actually broken space.
Maybe. So,
but I may be wrong on that.
Whatever. They went for a ride. That begs the question: would you go on it?
No. Oh God, no.
George?
I don't know. It's tempting to want to experience something like that, but I wouldn't say I went into space. I went into, it'd be fun to do something like that.
You would do it. Another way.
I would do it if I got.
I wouldn't get strapped in. Goes up. Roller coasters scare me. Can you imagine? And you're at the mercy of the mechanics, the science. What if they push the wrong button? It doesn't land right. I would never go up. I give everybody credit who can get into a spaceship. That's not me.
I agree with you.
Scott, would you?
George, you might.
I would probably do it if I got invited to do something like that. I wouldn't pay for it though.
Would you do it, Scott? Honest answer. Right now, they said you could go up.
No.
Yeah, it's a hard. I mean, I get the thrill of it and the magic, but
no, I don't think I would have the. The nerve. Nah, I'd be. My mind immediately. Would you guys online? Would you go up? Would you go up in a rocket? And would you just go in a rocket and just say, "Okay, I'll be back in a couple hours"? And
yeah, that's kind of a rocket.
I went on a hot air balloon that went up about 20 feet in the air. It was worth it for me. Well, all right.
Well, balloon, yeah.
Well, that's a balloon, but I think of the Challenger.
Yeah.
I think of that horrible thing. And, am I?
2 Challengers went down, or two shuttles went down. The
2
first one that flew up, and the one that.
And then I think of. I don't know why it makes me. It's the complete opposite part of the universe is that submersible that blew up underwater.
Oh, yeah. That I would. Oh my God, I feel that gave me chills that they were in there. They heard creak and then done.
Did you see they had it got pinged? They heard the explosion of it?
Yeah, our military did.
The what?
Our military heard it.
They heard it.
Yeah.
Could you look? I don't want to get. Could you? That's another thing after this too, which is crazy. Could you imagine you're going down, and somebody says we've lost all communication?
And the claustrophobicness. I mean, that's smaller than the shuttle. I mean,
all I know is
there were what, 5 people,
yeah.
and I just like going into dark abyss.
No.
Oh,
Wasn't it named the Titan?
Something like that. I think so.
Somebody made a meme, and I feel bad making fun of this. I didn't make it. I just read it. But they had the body count for the Titanic, and then X number of years later, it was up by 5 because those people went down to see the Titanic.
Yeah, that's really
George. I think Linda was George disrespecting the lives of everybody, and that's submersible.
So wait, humor, you got to give a little bit of.
Well, I do think you can push humor, but I don't know about that one. But,
all right,
Mark is a joke police, and everything.
I'm the joke bite.
No, that's okay. So now we're talking about the water. Did you see the guy swimming in the ocean in Israel?
No.
It's a guy. I don't know how far out he is. It's one of the most frightening things I've ever seen. He gets attacked by a shark.
Oh yeah, I did see that, but it wasn't recent.
How long ago? Recently?
No,
I didn't see this.
And Mark, what you see is it's a movie. It looks like Jaws. It looks like the opening of Jaws.
Oh, he's flapping around and the tail's coming up. Yeah, that was.
And you see the blood come up in the water.
I did see that then. Yes. Oh. And people were screaming. Yes.
You know, that's
I didn't know it was Israel. That was Israel? Wow.
Yep.
Well, he was in the Dead Sea. What do you want? It's called the Dead Sea.
Okay, George is starting to do puns again. You need your medication, George. You gotta take it.
I'll tell you a quick story. I did the Love Boat in like 1970, whatever. And
Christy McNichol.
Right? Episode ever.
With one of my favorite people in the world, Christy McNichol. And she was my first on-screen kiss. And so we actually got on the boat and went to Puerto Vallarta and Mazatlan. We got off. I guess they let us off the boat for a couple hours, and I went on the beach. And the beach was empty. And I think my mother was on the beach, if I'm not, but I can't remember. It's so long ago. But I remember I was able to walk out. It seemed like 100 yards, and the water was up to my waist. And I was like, wow, this is. And I look in the distance, and I see a fin.
Oh no!
Come out of the water, and I went. And you do this. You go, like, how far am I to shore?
Yeah.
And I'm frozen, and I'm just like, you're like, I can't believe this is. I must have been 16, 15 years old, and I can't believe you saw that episode, Yvonne. Great episode with Hermione Baddeley, who was in A Christmas Carol, one of the originals. Anyway, so I'm standing in the water and I see a fin, and then I see another fin.
Oh my God!
And I go, oh, I'm a dead, and then I see another fin.
Oh my God!
And then I saw this. It was a bunch of dolphins.
Oh wow!
True story. So I'm standing there, I'm frozen, and in my mind, I don't know, it's years and years ago. It's almost that the dolphins went like this, and they saw me, and they started coming to me, and I was frozen, and I'm telling you, they came up to me and just banged me around a little bit, just moved me around very gently, and then gone.
They did that on purpose.
You just encourage them when you laugh. Wow.
Did they distract the sharks, or did they weren't sharks? They were dolphins.
George, really?
Sorry. I'm trying to handle the comments here. Give me a break.
Oh, okay. All right. So that's that story, and I feel like I tell a lot of stories, and maybe they're boring, but they're kind of fun. Could you? All right. I'm going to talk about something else, because I was in Palm Beach a week or so ago, and rim shot. And I'll let your kids in the water with dolphins. Really? They were so nice to me. George is on a roll. Don't forget to tip your waiter. I don't get what that means. On purpose.
That's me being a comedian in a nightclub.
Oh, right. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So I was in Palm Beach, and we were staying at this beautiful hotel called the Bend something. It was beautiful, right on the water. And they had these boats there. I guess they're yachts. They were just massive. Some of them, some small, some bigger. And I said to my daughter, I said, could you live on that? She said, no. I said, really? You could? She said, no, Daddy, I don't want to live on a boat. I said, why? She said, because it's not a house. I don't want to live on a boat. And I was like, well, I don't know.
Like you don't have a house, you live on a boat, or just for
live on a boat. And I thought to myself, could I, so what these people do, these unbelievably wealthy people, is that they bring the boats down from up north, park them, and then they go back up during the summer in the boat. And they have a crew and captains and all that. So could you live on a boat?
No. I like boats. I have no problem with boats.
If you had a 150-foot yacht, could you live on it?
No, because I would still feel trapped. You're limited to. There's water. I like to walk out of the house.
You can get off.
Well, I know, but look, I used to spend 3-4 days in Catalina on an 85-foot yacht my friend had, and it was great. But to live on it, it's still cramped, even a luxurious yacht. And I always feel like I'm not home. I'm temporarily. It's in the water. It's moving. I could never live on a boat.
George,
I don't know. I mean, I used to work with a congressman, Jim Trafficant, and in Washington, Jim lived on a boat. He didn't float around; it was docked, and that was where he slept. That was his home when he slept there. Yeah. But I think if you did that, I could get used to it, but I wouldn't want to be at sea all the time. Even if it was in luxury.
Even on a dock, like people at the marina live on their boats, and it's cramped. You have to get up and then walk around. I mean, you basically go into
you're thinking of a smaller boat. I don't know if you've seen these boats.
Well, no, I'm saying I've been on a lot of big boats, and you're still.
Okay, how about now? Hang on. Could you live on Jeff Bezos' boat? Could you live on a Bill Gates' boat?
I think I'd still have a
350-foot boat with a pool.
You still got quarters. It's just they're longer and there's more rooms. I would feel trapped. I would feel a little claustrophobic to live on a boat.
There'd be a lot of peer pressure if you lived on a boat.
All right, this is it. You want me to go to CVS and get your prescription, George? I think he actually ran out of his medicine.
You want me not? I mean, I can't. I edit and I only say
George has no control over the puns that come out of his mouth.
That's right.
Some of them are quite brilliant. Yes, the stunt guy will take your questions, John. Yes, the stunt guy will take your questions. But somebody just said Sonny Crockett lived on a boat. I forgot about that.
Well, in Miami Vice, yeah.
I think I could live on a boat.
Really?
I wouldn't be like George. I wouldn't be like, let's go to Bermuda and, deal with the weather. And I don't think I could. I don't think I'm that guy.
Mm-hmm.
But
then you have to walk to your car.
What?
You're in the pier. You're in a dock. Let's say it's a really nice, beautiful boat. Anytime you want to go to a restaurant, you have to get off your boat and get in a car. And
no, Mark, you dock it when you dock it like
I know that, but it's a small house. It's just a tiny. Even a 150-foot yacht is not that big. The galleys are small. Your bedrooms are not that big. I mean, there's some.
You're thinking of boats from 40, 50 years ago.
I'm saying 80, 90 feet. No, I mean.
Yeah. All right. Well, how about? I understand what you're saying. It's a little bit more.
Brenda asked.
I think they're bigger than most homes. But would you go on a cruise? Go, George. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna. You go right ahead because you're bringing up what I was gonna say.
I'm gonna. What about a cruise?
Well, there are people that retire on a cruise and they just cruise their whole lives instead of having a home or something. They say it's worth it to go for years on a cruise. And I don't think I could do that. But
I don't want to be around that many people I don't know.
Hang on one second. Hang on. Somebody said something here. Tom Hanks lived on a boat and sleepless in Seattle?
I don't recall. Maybe.
I don't. Okay. But wait, you don't want to be on it. You don't want to be on a cruise because you don't like that many people. Mark,
For
George.
a year?
No, a year.
Well, he said people go their whole time.
yeah, some people,
Well, you can buy an apartment on a boat on a cruise ship. Did you know that?
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't, but it makes sense.
You can. I think Judge Judy has one.
Wow.
But
I feel trapped that I'm just on that boat. No matter how big, it's not at land. I want to be able to just walk out my door. And
but that's only for. But George, could you like cruises?
No. Well, I used to work for Carnival booking. I used to do all the music, the radio stations that you hear on the 26 Carnival. I don't know what they have now, but back then they had 26 boats, and I would program all the video for it. And I used to go on them just to make sure I was mixing the audio right. And they would do rock and roll cruises. Like John Mayer would get on the boat and people would buy tickets and see him perform 3 or 4 times in a weekend. It was fun, but that was enough for me. And we only really went down to Mexico and back for those things. They were like the party ones, but that was, I don't think I could live. I think like a few days is enough for me.
You know, I talked to Adam Hunter once in a while, the comic.
Mhm.
he's going to be on Gutfeld tonight.
Oh, is he good? I'll watch.
Yeah.
He's a good guy. He's got a beautiful little
like
daughter. And his wife Bree is wonderful. They're good friends of ours. But
I don't like his wife.
What?
I don't like his wife at all.
He does. He does cruises. He does comedy cruises, and
Yeah, that's the same thing, except we had music.
Yeah.
and I said, hey, Adam, did the people from last night come in tonight? He goes, yeah. And I didn't realize the first time that I had done that. So the same audience came the night before. He did the same act. And
Really?
When you're trapped, you
mix
can
it
go
up a little bit.
he didn't know. So he had to refine it. And
doing a gig on a boat could be fun for 4 or 5 days. I could see that. But living or spending
No, I just said take a cruise.
Well, I actually aren't interested for the other reasons. I said, like, so many people, and I after 2 days, I think I'd want to get off.
Well, I was on an aircraft carrier for a night.
That's right.
Well, that would have been exciting because it's a night and
That's
it's
very exciting.
yeah. I like boats. I spent 3 nights on a boat, but I was very happy when I got back home. I don't like to stay in different places too long.
Or you don't like to go anywhere or stay anywhere or get on an airplane. I mean, even your friend had a boat, his own private boat with like a cook and a cat, and you like 2 or 3 days, you're like, get me out of here. I mean, you had the best of the best. You still don't want to leave your house.
Oh, that was what's his
Glenn Larson.
Glenn Larson.
Yeah.
I mean, and you were a young man. I mean, come on.
No,
So you've been a stick in the mud your whole life.
pretty much, yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, listen, I think we've covered a lot. So movies and boats and so you guys, why don't you do this that are watching? Send in what you want us to discuss. I think that would be fun for us, whatever it might be. And Noah's Ark. I'd sleep on Noah's Ark. Anybody watch the 10 Commandments? You didn't watch the 10 Commandments over Easter?
Not this year.
I didn't.
Shame on both of you. Oh my God. What a fit. Can I tell you that movie, there are moments in that movie that still give me chills to this day.
Wow.
I still get the chills when Moses comes down from the mountain. I get chills when Moses talks to God in the burning bush. It's unbelievable. And maybe the best casting choice in the
I know where you're going.
in the history of movies was Edward G. Robinson. Yeah, where's your Messiah now?
You love that, I know.
Oh, it's
God, don't you have a
Vincent Price is Baca. What?
Don't you have a Charlton Heston story? I'm trying to remember.
I got two Charlton Hestons.
No, didn't you run?
Brenner.
You were in line behind them, and you.
Oh,
It was a convention or something.
Yul Brenner. Somebody said Yul Brenner always pisses him off. Why? He was Ramsey. No, Ramses. Yeah, he was the Pharaoh. I'll leave you all with this story. I loved Ben-Hur, 10 Commandments, Planet of the Apes, the original one in 1969 that Mark saw them shoot with the Statue of Liberty on the beach in Paradise Cove.
Not Paradise Cove, Zuma.
It's
that little place you go with the rocks. Yeah, they shoot a lot of commercials there.
I was. This has got to be 84, and I was at an event for, I think, whatever it was, 84, 88, whatever it was, for Ronald Reagan or George H.W. and I can't remember, but I think it was Reagan. And I was back, and they let all the celebrities made an entrance. Oh wow, Charlton Heston called us once. That's pretty cool, Julie. Wow, Moses. Anyway, so I was. We were all waiting in a line backstage, and he was right in front of me, and he was a huge guy, and he had this brown. I don't know what you would call it, tweed jacket or something, brown and black and whatever it was. It was not a very attractive jacket, but and he was talking to somebody, and I so wanted to meet him, and I didn't know what to do. You know, do I tap him on the shoulder? Do I butt in this conversation? And I'm standing there, and they're starting to call names. I'm thinking, crap, I'm going to miss my opportunity to say something to this guy. And I just said, "Get your stinking paws off me, you damn dirty ape." And he turned around and looked at me. I said, I'm sorry. I just wanted to shake your hand. I said, that's one of my all-time favorites. I talked to him for a few minutes, and he couldn't have been nicer.
Oh, great.
And he introduced, I was like, yes, I got to meet Charlton Heston.
Yeah, but isn't there a corollary to that about he wasn't? Yes, George.
Come
on, that's the funny part.
Well, was this when you were taking the picture for Paramount?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You guys were all doing
So
that.
I was taking this, there's a 75th anniversary photo of Paramount Studios, and I was asked to be in it, and anybody you could think is in it. Huge people. Victor Mature, Jimmy Stewart, Great Peck,
Taylor.
You know, and me. And, you know, I'm standing next to Burt Lancaster. What the hell am I? Elizabeth Taylor. And so I'm feeling we're all on this sound stage, and we're all hanging out, and I'm talking to Tim Hutton and somebody else, and I'm feeling pretty heady. Like, wow, I'm on the level with all these people. Okay, you know, all right, this is who I am, and this has got to be 1990, 89, 90, and so now we have to walk to the staging area where they're taking the photo, and I happen to be. This is after the obviously after the get your stinking paws off me thing, and I'm walking. We're all walking in twos to the staging area, and I'm walking with Charlton Heston, and again, I'm like, you know, Mr. Heston, I almost called him Chuck because I thought I was like hot shit. But I didn't. I thought, you know, don't be it. So, you know, but I'm feeling pretty good about myself. And I said, Mr. Heston, I got to tell you, I'm just a huge fan of, you know, I named his movies and on. And he says, you know, thank you so much. He says, you know, my kids are fans of yours too. I said, oh, thank you. He goes, yeah, they're big fans of Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
I remember this story. What did you do?
And I thought, man, I just got so slapped down by God, not Heston. And what I said was, thank you, Mr. Heston. You know, it was a fun movie to make. I mean, I didn't know what do you say after that. That wasn't me. I started riffing with him about it was fun. We shot in Chicago and whatever. And
that's too funny.
Anyway, that's it. Anyway, folks, seriously, write some stuff, send us some emails, what you want to talk about.
Send it to the email. Yeah, to the podcast.
Yeah, takeonlifepodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah.
It's
I'm wearing a Super B t-shirt. Yes, it's a Super B. My wife bought it for me. So, ladies and gentlemen, God bless you.
Thank you. Good night,
everyone.
See up my nose with the